No. Scott is connecting to audio. Scott is connected
Can,
to audio.
can we hear it? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
there you go.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. This podcast is going to happen whether the Zoom gods want it or not, or whatever the scheduling, whatever, it's going to happen.
Maybe.
Maybe. We're going to do it. Hmm. What's
Welcome
up?
back. To what? Oh, not much. Just spending 2 grand on fucking vet bills and trying not to kill people.
Yeah, well, that happens. That'll happen. Well,
Gio
just,
ran onto the fucking highway last night.
yeah, he's sitting right here. I don't know if you can.
Yeah,
There
that's
he is. That's the culprit. He got
yeah.
into a pen.
Yeah, come here, dude. Hold on. Tell everybody hi.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, are you doing better? Yeah.
You see, you like corgis. There's one on the. He got into a pen. If you can see, like there's purple on his neck, and he's got it all over his legs and his butt. And he got like, yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. He's a menace. No, I've got. Well, you can kind of see maybe like so. See how far the road's like right where that tree line is.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah. And so I was doing work on my computer on the at the table, and I heard a bunch of cars honking. And I was like, oh shit. And I looked up out my windows and he was just standing in the middle of the highway. And it's a 50-mile-an-hour road out there. And he wasn't running from cars, or he was just standing there like a buffoon. And I was like, oh fuck. And so I ran out there and he like came to me and was like all fucked up and sad. And so I grabbed him and like carried him inside. And then I ignored him for an hour and he hated that. He was like trying to like play with me and like love on me. And I was like, no, like get the fuck away from me. And then after an hour, I was like, okay, don't do that again. So we're gonna get like an electric fence or something, but we live
Good.
on 24 acres. An electric fence is gonna be a lot. So we might just get an electric fence in front of the road, or he just might lose his outside privileges for a little bit.
My dad's not paying attention to me, so I'm gonna kill myself on the highway.
I'm gonna kill myself. Exactly. Yep.
Uh, fucking Geo. All right.
I know.
Well, sadly we couldn't get freaking Tony on this thing.
I
That was
know.
that was a shit show all week.
Yeah, it happens though. I'm glad at least we got on here so we can talk about some bodybuilding a little bit. So now
Yeah,
that the Open Olympia's in like 3 hours, we can get our last minute predictions in.
there's still time.
There's still time. I guess Brandon's competing.
Yeah, so definitely food poisoning, right?
Yeah, probably. Right. I mean, it could have totally been, but like, there's so many bodybuilders that like go in the peak week. They're like, oh well, yeah, I got food poisoning. It's like, no, your kidneys are just shutting down because you're pounding diazide and Lasix and all this type of stuff. So,
Right.
um, yeah, it's well, there's a coach. Well, I shouldn't probably say his name. There's a high level coach out there who talks about his like in case it just blows up everywhere. There's a high level coach out there that loads his clients like 3 weeks before with diuretics, which is fucking
Three
wild to me. And
weeks?
3 weeks he does an insulin load.
Why?
He's talked about, or not insulin load, he's done a diuretic load. I don't know, it works. He has a Mr. Olympia. He I'll tell you who it is after, but he's talked about it on a podcast. Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah.
uh,
So there's people out there that do it.
I mean, I just feel like that's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, I well, all I can say is I'm not that at that level of coaching, and I don't have any Mr. Olympias under me, but it seems kind of wild to me to load someone with diuretics like 2 to 3 weeks out from a show. That doesn't make much sense. But
I'm gonna water load him 2, 3 weeks out.
I know. Mm. Well, then like Seth Ferosi went to the hospital because of diuretics after his national show
Oh, okay.
because he was so dry, and this was back when he was like our age, like 24, 25, 26 or whatever. But he went to the hospital because of diuretic usage. So it happens. It's the one thing that can kill you. I was telling a client this today, like when I did my last show, my coach would have me do a diazide. He'd have, and I think I talked about this on the last podcast. He'd do, I would be no water. He'd give me a burger and a diazide, and I didn't have water for like 2 days before. I would do a water load and then he would cut it. And then so I was not peeing a bunch, but then he would give me this burger with all the sodium and I would fill up and then he would give me the diazide and I would pee and I would pee all night when I hadn't drank water for like 2 days. And so I would wake up and I would be really light and like really lean, but like just my body was just so inflamed from all the sodium and like lack of water. It was just, and then I couldn't get a pump at all because I was had no water in me. It was just,
Right?
yeah, diuretics aren't fun. I can't imagine taking them for 3 weeks in a row.
Oh my God. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, now that makes me really think about like maybe food poisoning is actually like a common thing because like you're super strict on shit, and then these coaches just say to go have like a freaking cheeseburger somewhere.
Yeah, that could possibly happen too. So,
Like,
and then also
it's just
too,
not.
yeah, I saw a comment that was like, you've been eating fish and then you meal prep fish and then you get on a plane and then you eat that and then you might get food poisoning. Like that, it makes sense. It definitely could happen, but yeah, I don't know. So it's just speculation. Like it just seems like it's always peak week. People get food poisoning, and it's like you've been eating the same shit for months. Like how are you getting
Potentially,
food poisoning? Potentially, unless
potentially.
they change it. Potentially, yeah. So you don't know. We don't know.
It's crazy
So
fucking peak week protocols and shit.
yeah, yeah.
All
So
right.
well, we kind of discussed our predictions, but I guess we could go through. I don't know. Did you send yours?
I didn't. I was kind of waiting till this.
Oh, well, sorry.
Oh, you guys are good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fun. I mean that plus too. I've just been freaking busy as balls this past
Yeah.
couple. So I
Yeah.
finally actually got them freaking written down before as I was waiting for Peter. So there is that.
D-
Now that we kind of figured out, okay, who's actually going to freaking be at this thing, and
Yeah.
wait for any more
Yeah.
fucking hamstring tears coming in.
I know. Right. Hopefully no one's lifting today. Like, you know what I mean? But
Ah, dude,
yeah, yeah, people
that
are it's cursed Olympia.
it really is. Like I was thinking about buying the pay per view. Jesus.
Yeah.
Tonight, but I'm like, freaking half the lineup's gone.
Yeah, half the lineup and all the divisions. There was a bunch of girls in bikini and in figure from Brazil that got their visas denied. Like there's yeah, the half the lineup is gone. And it's like not like the back half of the lineup. It's like the top 10, like 5 out of the top 10 is gone.
Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be with all the fucking other shit just going on around the world right now too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just sucks, but
Yeah.
I don't want to pay
Yeah.
$100 to watch half an Olympia. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and two, I just watch like tomorrow morning I'll get up and look at my phone and see like the pictures and see who looked good and who didn't look good. And it'll be the same thing. And like, I go to bed at like 7 o'clock at night. Like there's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So yeah.
just not. I was big bodybuilding fan, but like to watch half an Olympia that's going to be freaking stuttering the whole time or buffering.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I bought it a few years ago when they had it on Amazon, and I bought it for like it was like $100, I think, and it was buffering the whole time. The commentators are horrible, the camera people were horrible, and I was just like, how is this the Super Bowl of a professional sport, and it looks worse than me live streaming a video game at my house? Like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm really surprised that they can't get like some like decent news network to cover it. You would
yeah,
think like I mean it's an international like pretty well known sport.
yeah.
I feel it's got to generate some views for like fucking MSN, maybe not because they fucking do the
Yeah.
Olympics and shit. But like some dipshits on Fox would probably watch it.
I mean, well, it used to be on ESPN like back in the day, like in the '90s, but that's
Was
when like Ron, yeah, it was
I
like
didn't know that.
yeah, it was on there. But I think why is because like their strongman is on ESPN, right? But
Right.
it's strongman. You can look at those guys, and like the average person's not going to think steroids, even though that's bullshit, right? But
Right.
you look at a bodybuilder, and immediately you're like, oh yeah, they're steroids, right? Like so, I think that's one of the things, and it's also kind of a weird sport. So, but I could see it be on like ESPN the Ocho, right? Like that.
Which fuck, I didn't even know that was a thing until like this year, and then I saw like freaking it was like professional tag or some shit.
Yep, yep.
Just like, wow, we actually have a channel for this shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Yeah, ESPN American Muscle Magazine. Uh, it
No
was
shit.
back in like, yeah, like I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the newcomers.
yep, the newcomer. So it was like,
Man,
yeah, yeah. So this is like, yeah, the 1991 IFBB Mr. Olympia, and it would like show like them working out in the gym and
man,
like that's kind of cool.
it is cool. Fuck what we
Yeah,
got going on. This
I
is so,
know. Look at that background too. Oh, that's Paul DeMeo. That's a good look. Yeah,
what
like
do
that's a
you think about the backdrop right now? That I saw some comment earlier that they were trying to make it a lot darker this year, so you can actually
yeah,
see it.
yeah.
What do you
It
think?
looked better. From what I saw, it looked better. Like they had black curtains everywhere. I mean, the last few years there was like LEDs and like lasers, and it's just
It
this
was
year like
bad
they've
last year.
got it, but yeah, it was real bad. And so, well, you went last year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Was it pretty distracting in person?
I thought so. Like the fun. I mean, not that I even cared about like bikini really, but like it was. They just got like fucking waves and shit in the background the whole fucking time. I'm just
Hmm.
like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I didn't like it. It's you would think they would just try and simplify it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't need a fucking jumbotron and behind people. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think what's tough too is like the screens that they put are like LED, right? So
Yeah,
when they take pictures, the LEDs absorb a lot of the light, and
yeah,
so it makes people look like washed out. And it's like, can we just do like a curtain with the sponsors on the back? I know that doesn't look as like eye poppy, but it's like you're going to the show to look at the athlete or the person, right? You're not going there to be like, ooh, muscle tech, like you know what I mean? And I've also never looked at a picture of like Mr. Olympia and then saw behind him like Labrada Nutrition. And I'm like, you know what? Now I want to do Labrada Nutrition. I like that's I don't know, that's just me. I don't know if that's because I took a marketing class, but like I'm looking at the picture like, oh wow, Hottie looks great. I'm not like thinking about the background. It just is distracting. And then I don't want to buy from them because it's annoying. So
right.
maybe that's just me. Yeah.
No, it's that's no, it's that you're right. I mean, if it were me, like you got freaking, let's just say, Ross sitting behind freaking Samson, like you can't see his tricep fully. I feel like that would just piss me off and not want to use Raw.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey,
For many other reasons, but yeah, yeah,
yeah, I don't know that. I think it looks a little bit better this year, but yeah, no, I agree with that. Like if they're really worried about like just making it look good, like at least get like some cashmere curtains or something. We can get some fancier curtains or something, fancier material.
yeah. Yeah,
But
if you can afford a giant LED screen, you can afford some like nice curtains, I guess.
yeah,
So yeah.
but all right. Well, I guess we'll talk about. You want to talk about classic first?
Sure.
Um, honestly, I really don't know much past like the top, maybe like top six or seven. I don't, I should probably follow classic a little bit better, but that's
Yeah.
just me. But I feel like for the most part, we were pretty similar. Um, I just think like the first five, I feel like can go a lot of different ways. I thought I saw somebody at the conference say like hers is like 15 pounds heavier than last year, which is
Yeah.
fucking wild to me.
Yeah.
So I think he might be right that he could jump up to two, but I don't know. Terrence has been so close for so long. I think he just fucking had an off year that I don't know. I think he comes back to second personally.
Yeah, well, he missed weight last year, and they gave him an hour because once you miss weight, they give you an hour to lose weight, and he was
Right.
running up and down the escalator at
I
the
remember that.
Olympia Expo. Yeah, like, and so like, yeah, that's gonna throw off your look like a lot. So he looks really good, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see how he looks.
And especially he he's pretty short. He's one of the shorter guys. I think he got a
Mhm.
pretty big weight bump on that.
Yeah, he got 10 pounds, I think.
So
Yeah,
yeah, fuck, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Seabohm definitely I think takes the cake. Yeah, I think it goes like Seabohm, Terrence, and fuck it. Really a toss up between Ramon and Urs, but maybe Urs third, Dino fourth, which is still fucking saying a lot.
Yeah.
Then just kind of after that, probably Breon, DeBoule, Somerville. I like Wesley. I just think his waist is too fucking wide.
Yeah.
It just kills me.
Yeah. I think Wesley, the shitty part, I like his physique on its own. And I
Right,
was talking about this. I think that his physique on his own looks really good, but then you stand him next to all those other guys in that lineup, and he sticks out in a bad way. You
right.
know what I mean? Like he sticks out because his waist is really long, and I don't know if his waist is big. It just comes like this as opposed to
Yeah.
that, right? And his
Hmm.
lats go like that. It's like how I kind of put it. It looks like he has bolt-on parts, right? Like he has big lats, but
It's
they're
your own
bolted.
bodybuilder.
He has big delts. Yeah, like that's exactly right. Like how you would, and it's like okay, a waist where it's like where all like Chris and Urs and Breon and Terrence, all of them like it flows naturally where it's like
Hmm.
not bolted on, right? So
He just has too high of
I
lat
yeah,
inserts. I feel like it
yeah,
just sucks.
yeah, which is that's not his fault, which he's capitalized on his not ideal genetics. I mean, he has great genetics for like if you were to go to the beach and look like that, like fuck, that'd be great, right? But he's capitalized on his not world class shape by having really good conditioning and really good posing, and generally good muscularity for a tall guy.
Yeah. How tall is he? Like 6 feet?
I think I think he's like 6 feet or 6'1".
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're saying there's a chance I can go into classic?
that's right. That you have a chance,
Potential.
even though I think you look like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, dude, I know.
Yeah,
Fuck. Well,
yeah,
we'll see them as I keep slimming down, but yeah, I think you're right.
yeah.
I'll just listen to
Yeah,
it.
I think we haven't seen a lot from Seabum this year, but I think he's going to be a house.
Hmm.
Like he was at the press conference, he was wearing a hockey jersey, and I get it,
Uh-huh.
hockey jerseys are meant to be oversized, but I was like, good lord, his like, I get it, like they're supposed to be puffier, but they were tight on his shoulders, and that was
Mhm.
like a probably like a double XL hockey jersey. I was like, oh, good lord, like he's looks big this year. So
I'm interested to see what Connie's done with a whole year of actually working with him instead of just like,
mhm.
I think they just did like 10 weeks of prep, didn't they, last year?
Yep. Yeah, and
So,
Sebum too. He never has really done an off season like that with Hani or with
right.
anyone. He usually takes like 4 or 5 months off because he just needed that mental break, but Hani wouldn't let him. And so now he had a full year, which is wild to think about. Like Sebum was the best while taking a break. And now he's like, that's pretty wild.
Taking a break, tearing a bicep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, tearing a bicep. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just be super surprised if he doesn't win.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way.
No,
Yeah.
especially if he fucking keeps improving. I still would like to see what happens if he did an open show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I still doubt he does that. I think he's fucking out after this year, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly, because the Open Olympia, has so many people drop out, they should just let him throw on some posing trunks and get out there and see where he plays. Just like say, fuck it, we need the views. Like, I think I'd put him in the top 10. I'd
Oh,
put him in the top
yeah.
10 next to some people. Yeah,
He could crack top five and be Hunter. I think for
yeah.
sure.
Hunter, I think Hunter the size thing, but like he could definitely be like a Tonio or a Regan or like those guys. But yeah, to go back on what you said, I think I think he's going to be done after this year, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
that's just my feeling. I was talking about that with some clients and like, fuck, I don't know. I don't know him personally whatsoever, but like he
I
talked
talked
about
to
there
him
being,
the other day. He's
yeah,
done. Or
yeah, here you heard it here first. But yeah, I think I just it just seems like he's got his own private gym. I think he probably wants to start a family. Like he seems like the type of guy that would just kind of be like, you know what, hey, I'm good. Like pass this on, and I'm just gonna kind of make millions of dollars silently running companies, right? Like that just seems like his type of thing.
mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Especially with how good like the Ron Revive's doing. Like,
Mhm.
kind of what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
He
And
talks
yeah, it's
about
just
himself all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. When he doesn't like if he wins this Olympia, it doesn't make those companies any better. And if he
Right.
loses this Olympia, it doesn't make him any better either, like, or any worse, right? Like if he lost, it's not like Raw and Revive is gonna all of a sudden be like no one's gonna look at it, right? Like let's say Samson was, let's say he won last year and then wins or loses this year. I think that would hit hostile kind of hard. But
Right.
I think if C-Bum kind of walks there, like loses, which he's not, but if he loses, I don't think that would hurt Raw Revive whatsoever.
I
You
agree.
know? Yeah. I don't know if that. Yeah, I know like it makes sense, but like it just is that it feels different, and it's partially because he owns it, um, but yeah, I just think that his placing has no change on the company itself. So and I think he thinks about that a little bit.
He's too big of an icon, and then Raw Revive are too big of companies at this point, like especially the whole fucking Walmart shit they're doing recently.
Yep.
It's just not gonna matter.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
my predictions. I did C-Bum by by a country mile, Urs, and then Dino. That Dino had that picture bleak yesterday, and I don't know if you saw that picture, but I didn't like how he looked. I can text it to you.
like his posing in general.
I don't like his posing. I don't like his I don't like I know he has really good arms and this and that, but I think I don't like his balance for classic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like I don't like his arms look great, his forearms look great, but like his legs are kind of off, his posing looks kind of clunky, his back, like I think honestly, I was talking about this with someone today. As you can tell, I talked a lot about the Olympia today, but I think that I think he would be a really good open guy. Like if he took like a year and a half off or like 2 years and grew, I think he would be a really good open guy. And I think that's what's tough with classic is there's so many guys that could potentially be open that are just like, nah, I'm gonna stay in classic. Like eventually I'll get to open, but you're prepping going, you can't really actually grow to open.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fuck. Like I really like his shape, but what what's his weight right now? Honestly, I feel like he's just undersized still. Is kind of what
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I don't know what his weight is. To me, he looks underdieted. I know it's
yeah.
probably the angle and the posing, but his legs look like just shot. Like
Yeah,
it looks like he's been doing way like obviously I don't know. I'm not his coach or anything, but it just looks like his legs are just like
for the
just
podcast.
yeah, like his legs just kind of look like tired. Like they still look like there, but they look like okay, maybe he's flat, but they don't look like they would fill up very well. They just look tired. So who knows if he had to push down extra for the weight cap or what? But yeah, that was my initial reaction. Like he just looked kind of tired. But then after that, I had where'd it go? I had Terrence, and then Breon. Breon looked. I was really happy with how Breon looked, especially since he's only technically prepped for like 12 weeks or something like that. Like,
Oh, really?
um, yeah, he was gonna do 212, and then like 10 weeks ago, they were like, "Oh, we're upping the weight class immediately," and
Oh, that's right.
he hopped back into classic. So I mean, good for him for just being like a professional and not getting fucking fat. Like, or maybe he knew that the weight cap was going to go or something like that. But like if you're really trying to push up to 212, I would expect him to have been kind of fat. You know what I mean? Like not fat, but like not within striking distance of a prep. But
Hmm.
then I've got Mike Summerfield. I really like how he looks. Like just he looks like an action figure. Then I got Wesley Vissers, then Michael the Bull, and then Alejandro or Alexander, whatever Combinero. I know he has a couple of different first names. He just won the Masters Mr. Olympian Classic.
Mm.
And he's the one. He was in the top three early in classic physique when it was like Danny Hester and George DeBull Peterson. He's the guy. He's got a neck issue. Whenever he poses, he does like this. Have you seen that guy?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I honestly only put him 10th because I saw it on your list. I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy can
So
go on.
yeah, he just won the Masters Mr. Olympia and like he looks good. I just think he doesn't improve, right? He's been in classic for so long, for
Mm.
as long as it's been around. The judges kind of get tired of the look. They're just like, okay, you look the same. That's great. Like they put the new guys kind of in front. And then that Jay Hun Park, he won the Texas Pro. He beat Logan Franklin and Robert Timms. I
Mhm.
think he could be higher than 10th, to be honest. I think he could be all the way up to 6th, depending on how he looks. He
Yep.
looks fucking awesome. Like he looks really good. And to beat a Robert Timms and a Logan Franklin, those are two like really high caliber people, and he
Uh,
looks really good.
I agree with that. I have
Yeah.
him at 9, but you're right. Just depending how everybody else shows up, I for sure think he could be fucking higher. You know, every time
Yeah.
I've seen him, he looks nuts.
Yeah, and it's just
But,
some of those classic physique, like the Asian classic physique dudes, just like their legs are just like massive and no waist, and usually they struggle with their back, but his back looks really good. From I remember from the Texas Pro, and like for you to win, the Texas Pro is arguably now the third biggest show in bodybuilding, behind the Olympia and the Arnold, and to beat two top 10 Mr. Olympia guys, or Logan Franklin's potentially top 10, but like that's a big feather in your cap for sure.
yeah, yeah, no, I'm with you there.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Classic, and we'll see. Kind of like I think Sebum's gonna look awesome. I'm just curious to see if he just keeps going. I just have a feeling he won't. But
Mhm.
honestly, I think Sebum could go as long as he wants to. Really, like he would have to be so off. Like he would have to be like 80%, and Urs or Dino or any of those other guys would have to be like 110% for
Mhm.
him to even like, because just the even if you want to get like the politics of it, right? Like the amount of money he brings to the IFBB, the amount of fans he brings to the Olympia. Like how many people do you think are going to the Olympia just to potentially see Chris Bumstead? Like,
Based on what I saw, like prejudging last year, like Morgan and I were just kind of standing around, like there was nobody fucking paying attention, like to any of the other divisions, and then fucking Chris Bumstead comes on, like dude, you couldn't even see any.
mhm,
It was just a fucking swarm of people. Just everybody has their freaking phones up.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody's Chris, man.
Yeah, so like even if you want to like even though I don't think like the judges think politically like that, it's in the back of your mind just as a human. Like, do we really want this guy to lose? Like unless he's like it's like when Dorian was winning. His last Olympia, Dorian had like a torn lat and a torn bicep and he looked like shit, but it was like it's Dorian. Like he's the main thing. Like let him kind of come out on top and um yeah, like it was kind of a bummer like when Phil Heath kind of went out the way he did.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of like and that was on Phil. Like he just kept coming back when he shouldn't have. But like
Mhm.
you look back on that, it's just like that kind of sucks, right? So
I agree. I'm with you. I'm with you there. Before running out of time, what the hell is this? Am I try this again? It's got connected to audio. It's set, so we're good.
hell yeah, hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, now we can
Round
do
two.
open.
Uh, yeah.
um, yeah, you go
First,
first.
Keon or fucking Sean right now.
Um, I kind of texted you earlier. I don't think Sean is off. I think he looks great. I don't think that Keon did enough to like knock him off, right? Kind of what I was just talking about a little bit. Like
Yeah.
when there's a Mr. Olympia, you have to knock him off, right? Like, and so I don't think Sean is like off that much to where Keon can come through. I also think too in 212 they really like to reward conditioning, and I just don't think Keon like I think that's the best condition Keon that there's been. I just don't think he's quite there for what they want for 212, right? Like
Right.
if you're gonna be under 212, you better be fucking like tight, right? And he's very, very tight, but next to Sean, like Sean just has that other level that you can't like you can hardly replicate, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm with
So,
you there. I.
yep.
It's a lot closer than I anticipated it to be,
Oh yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just his back shots from what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Sean,
Exactly.
Sean has too much density, man.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Sean looks great. And I think it's a really good matchup. And I think it's a really good look for 212. It's not blocky. Like neither of them look like sometimes 212 can look really like blocky. Like the Angel Calderon, I think, is in third or fourth right now behind them. He looks great, but it's just like he's like 5'4" and just like boom, boom, and just like he looks great, but it's like when you put him next to like a Keon or Sean, where that's like, whoa, they just look like mini open guys
Uh,
it kind of throws it off. You know what I mean?
yeah, it really makes me wonder how Breon would have done,
Hmm.
honestly.
Yeah, he when he did 212 like a few years ago, he didn't really do very well. But he also has way, way, way more muscle and also way more like notoriety. They're gonna want to compare Breon next to people, I would think.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I think Sean wins it again.
Yeah,
Like you said, just not enough to
yeah,
take him off. But if Keon has another year like he did this year,
yeah,
I
yeah.
I think maybe next year he's fucking got it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
when I saw him backstage at Danny's show, I didn't talk to him like I said because I was like, I'm professional, I'm a coach, I can't be like a fangirl. That was the second widest person I've ever seen in my entire life. The first was Dallas McCarver, but
Uh,
Keon walking around, he's like 5'5", and like his shoulders were like wider than mine. And just like walking around, he was wearing like a jersey, like a Gasp jersey, and it was just like I keep saying it, but watch him walk around was just like he took up so much space walking by all these figure and bikini chicks. It was just fucking wild to watch. So yeah, he I really like his physique. I think I would like to see him do open eventually. Like if he can put on some size, I think he'd be like a Derek Lunsford, but I
mhm.
think he's still only like 207 pounds. Like I don't even think he maxes out 212 at all.
God damn.
So yeah.
Yeah, that fuck yeah. That's
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good one to watch. It's
Yeah.
I just love his look. So I was
Yeah.
hoping he'd I'm just glad he actually came in like conditioned right
Yeah.
for himself
Yep, and
comparatively.
that's the best Keon I think that's ever been on stage because he always kind of has struggled with that, right? And so
Yeah.
I think he works with Patrick Tour if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And I think Patrick, like his track record with his athletes is it takes him a few shows to get his people right, but once he gets them right, it seems like
Money.
he's yeah, exactly right. Like with Ian, it took him like when Ian went from Matt to Patrick, it took a little bit, but once he got it, it was like on. And then who else? Oh, Staminal works with Patrick Tour. I don't know if you know who Staminal is,
Yep.
but like he is just like every year has gotten like better and better and better. So I think like Patrick's one of those coaches where like I think he works really well with people that might not have the best genetics for conditioning or muscle or anything like that, but he actually can like get the best out of people. Where some coaches like sometimes I think like Matt with some of his athletes, he just gets genetic freaks that you could give them anything and they would be giant or conditioned. You know what I mean? If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, not saying that Matt's not a good coach or anything, but like some of the guys that Patrick works with, it's like Keon, his conditioning isn't genetically there, but
Right.
he gets him in condition. Like once it's on, which is really cool to see.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Mhm.
I agree with that 100%. You ready for this open shit?
Hell yeah, who do you got?
I'll start from the bottom and you can tear me apart.
Okay.
I th I think Justin Shire for 10.
Okay.
Bringing him in.
Okay.
I think they're gonna I do think Matt's gonna have him fucking peeled enough, and I think his shape is with how like the judging's been going. I think they want to award that. Plus, I think that there's been enough fucking people come out that I think he can nudge his way in there personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see. I'll give
Okay.
10 to old Justin because
Okay.
what was it this year that he won? Chicago?
Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean that's another big one too, right?
Yeah.
So
That's I would yeah, he beat did he beat Tonio? Let me look. Um no, he beat Blessing. Well, Blessing didn't look that good in that show, but Chicago Pro. Yeah, I think he beat a couple he I think he beat Beef Stew, maybe. Maybe I'm told
I yeah I yeah I think he was in that.
it was around that time. Anyway, I could definitely see him in the top 10. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Justin Shire, John De La Rosa, Staminal, and then Blessing. So, and then Patrick Moore was in that show too.
So
Um,
I
so
mean
he beat some good. I mean, John De La Rosa looked really good. Stamina looks good. Blessing was an Olympian last year. Patrick was an Olympian a few years ago. Like he beat some good guys, so I could definitely see him in 10th for sure. And he's had a few months to put on some size, maybe in his back and stuff. So I definitely could see him looking a little bit better in that top 10.
And I'm just a Justin fan to begin with, so
Mm-hmm.
there's my bias for you.
Yeah.
Charles ninth.
Okay.
I again, but what he was what like third call out? No, no, not third call out last year.
He was the 13th or 14th, so that would be like
Okay, yeah.
that would have been third call out. Yeah.
So I think just with the amount of people that are out, I think he creeps back up.
Yeah, he's got that pec tear going on right now. I don't know if you saw
True.
that at his last show,
Yep.
which at the Olympia that can throw it off. But he talk about shape, like his vacuum is fucking unreal, right? Like
Yeah.
he like he's got some good shape. And just will that pec tear really throw off like everything else? And like when you put him next to like a Justin who's so pretty, does that pec tear like throw that off? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Give me John Jewett
yeah, there we go.
in there somehow.
Yeah.
I think yeah, Antonio eighth. I think I don't think Crizzo beats Hunter yet.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think yeah, dude. He's fucking big. I don't know. I just don't think Crizzo's been around long enough yet that he beats Hunter, and Hunter's definitely at his prime right now.
Yeah.
So it's again, as soon as we get into like the top six, 7 here, it's just a fucking toss up at this point.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like, but for sure, I'm going to continue the trend of Andrew beating Hunter.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
So I got Andrew fifth, but I still got like Brandon Curry fourth.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that could be either way. Who knows what the fuck happened with his stomach shit or whatever the fuck that was. So maybe he goes
Yeah.
fucking a lot lower. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna give Brandon Curry the benefit of the doubt. Um, yeah, Brandon fourth. Then I j- I don't think Samson beats Derek yet.
Mm,
I think Derek just looks too fucking wild, dude.
yeah.
But again, like Samson, Derek, Hottie, like those three could be a fucking toss up too. You never know.
Hmm.
Like Samson's improved so much wildly from like the Olympia to the Arnold last year that who knows what the fuck that looks like this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go Samson, and then I don't think Derek beats Hottie yet. I think Hottie just continues to be spot on and like you talked about with the other shit. I don't think Hottie fucks up enough that he gets knocked off yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like Derek also looks fucking wild.
Yeah.
So
No, I definitely agree with those. I think your pick, like especially the top three, I definitely think that's probably what's going to happen. If I was judging, I like Samson's physique. That's like, you know what I mean. So if I were to be like, if we were betting money on this, I would probably have exactly what you have. And I'm not just saying that to like protect myself, but like, um, it. They were talking about this on the Bro Chat podcast. I think it'll be interesting to see that top four because Derek and Hottie look similar-ish, like similar builds, and
yeah.
then Andrew and Samson have similar builds. So it's like, what? Oh, Geode, it's okay, buddy. I
No,
stopped petting his. I know. Well, I was petting his butt, and he was like, "Hey, wait a minute." They stopped, but like, they could put. And I don't think that this is going to happen at all. But like, let's say they really are rewarding Samson and Andrew's look. They could have them 1 and 2. I don't think that Andrew beats Derek or Hottie, but if like number one is Samson, then who compares the closest to Samson? Andrew. And then it's kind of, but what I think is going to happen, it's going to be Derek and Hottie probably 1 and 2,
yeah,
because I think those two look the closest. And so, like, okay, if we're going to have the precedent of Hottie being number one, the number two is going to have to look pretty close to that. So number two would be Derek, and then I think it'll be third Samson, and then probably fourth Andrew.
hmm
And then I think why I'm kind of going through them now. Why I put Brandon fifth is because I think you don't know what happened with the hospital. We don't know, right? Like,
right.
and so. I think that's as far as they would really let him slide, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think they would have Hunter or Krizo beating him. I think a Brandon that's sick, whether it's diuretics or food poisoning, still beats the fuck out of Krizo or Hunter or anyone else. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then oh, stop it. And then I have Krizo. I think Krizo just looks really big. Like, and I think they like that at the Olympia. Um, I you know me, I used to be a big Hunter fan. Like
Oh yeah.
after last year's Olympia showing, it just that looked so bad to me, and he still got seventh. But he looked better at Texas. Um, so I'm almost talking myself to putting him in sixth, but I
You're
don't
welcome.
I think yeah, I know. I think Krizzler's just gonna be too damn big. And yeah, and Hunter's been in prep for a while too.
No, that's true.
Krizo had a little bit of a break. So I think that could be a toss up. Um, in eight, kind of what my thinking with this, right? Krizo being six, Hunter being seven, and then Regan eighth. Because Regan kind of has that similar build to Hunter. So they put them next to, but I know you just gave me that look. He is like the king of like looking really good and then not being there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He's yeah, I just don't know. I always think he's gonna come in a lot better than what he does. It's just
yeah,
he's like the king of the third call out.
yeah, yeah. King of
Is
Instagram.
you know
Yeah, Instagram's Mr. Olympia. I mean, who
true.
knows? Like he could come in and be, big as a house and shredded, and Milos has him dialed, right? But yeah, I think he could be. I think 100% really good Regan, like the best ever Regan ever, would be eighth, and I think that's the highest he could be in this lineup. I don't think,
Yeah.
like, unless Hunter's fucking fat, which he's not going to be, I don't think Hunter would slip past Regan. Like, I don't think 110% Regan beats even a 50% Hunter, really. Like, as silly as that sounds, and Hunter's not going to be 50%. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so yeah, I got Regan, and then I got Tonio. Which if I honestly think about Justin being in 10th, right? Like Tonio and Justin next to each other is a really good comparison because they're both smaller guys. They're both really pretty. I think Tonio has a little bit more density than that. And then I put Charles Griffin in 10th just because I like his shape. And I think he's also a well-known name that's been around for a long time. And I
Yeah.
think they do pay attention to that. And then I did have Andre Presti in 11th. I just like how Andre Presti looks. And I know we're only doing top 10. I did have him in 10th, but I really like how Andre Presti looks. I honestly don't think he'll be that high because his legs are kind of small. I don't know if you kind of know what he looks like, but
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get there, but I just really like him. So another one that I think could sneak into that 10th spot. Have you seen Theo Laguerria? He's the French guy.
Oh, no, I haven't.
He just won I think he won the last France show. Um, he's really big. Let me find a picture here. Oh, he won the last Italy show. I'm gonna send it to you on Instagram if you want to see it. But
Got it.
oh, that's he does a lot of like Instagrammy shit. But he's in really. There we go. There's some stage. Like I think he could look really good too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah,
I really like the thought of them putting Justin 10th just because I think they're really going to try pushing more of the aesthetic
yeah,
bodybuilding versus just fucking pure size. So
yeah.
but with that being said, who knows? Maybe you are right. Maybe they do shove fucking Samson Derek up in front this year, just based on where they're trying to get shit headed. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of what I've been saying about all the divisions, like you really have to knock out the champ, right? I don't think Hottie's going to be off enough to be really knocked out. It's
Yeah.
just like those placings are like, what would I like to see happen? And unless Hottie's midsection's completely fucked up, but even then, like when Phil had his fucked up midsection the last year before he lost to Sean, they still let him win, and it was clearly like he shouldn't have won, but he didn't get knocked off. Now the next year, they probably told Phil, hey, fix that midsection or else you're going to lose. And then he didn't. And then I was like, okay, fucking sorry, bud. Like, I don't think they probably had to tell Hottie that last year. Now, if they tell him that this year, like, hey, fix your midsection, and then next year he comes back and it's still messed up, then that's when they'll take that. So I agree. I think yours is more likely to happen. I really like Samson just because I like that type of physique. So yeah.
I
And
honestly, if Samson pulls it off and wins the whole thing, I would be super happy with it
yeah,
personally.
any of those top three, man. Like if Derek won, I'd be like fucking right. If Hottie won, I'd be like fucking right. If Samson won, I'd be like fucking right. Like that, those are all completely like okay. Um, like if, and it depends on how they look, obviously, but like if Hunter beat any of those guys, I'd be like, I don't know about that, right? Like, or if like Brandon Curry like beat all of them and looked this, I'd be like, I don't know about that, right? But those top three, yeah, I don't know. Where little switch of topic, where do you think Nick would go if he didn't tear his shit up?
Uh, Fuck, dude, it's so hard for me to say just because every I feel like his pictures that he posts are the only ones that like actually translate to whatever the
Mm-hmm.
fuck they put out like on stage. So I think he would at least be four for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I looking at his pictures, like he brought up his legs more somehow, which I didn't
Yeah.
even know that was fucking possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at maybe max three, if he could edge out Samson,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But again, I think it's based on where the fuck they want shit to go, like
Yeah.
like fucking Mass Monster or like a little more aesthetic. So I I don't think he could beat Derek right now.
Yeah,
Or
I don't think so either. I don't think they would ever like I really like Nick's physique. I just don't think they would want that to win the Olympia, if that
right.
makes sense, right? Like I don't think they would want that look with like the veins and the blockier abs. And it's a good waist. I don't even want to say blocky waist, just like I don't think that's what they want the Olympia to look like. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
could say like Hottie, but Hottie still has like a little bit of aesthetic and flow. Like Nick has some aesthetic, but it's just he's muscle, which is great. I love it, and I think it's like a second, third, fourth kind of guy. But I just don't think that that can beat like a Derek or a Hottie or a Samson. But who knows? I don't know. I'm just a
I yeah,
so
it's so hard to say too because like he also changed like all of his training up this year. Like who knows what training full range of motion for the guy would have done compared to everybody else. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
yeah, I just don't think Nick would have broke past three. Honestly,
yeah,
three tops.
yeah. I think if so, going back to what I was saying about like like fair comparisons, I think if Nick was in there, it would have for sure been Hottie, Derek, and Nick. It's like in not in that maybe in that order. I don't think Samson could have snuck him because then it's like okay, then it's three meatballs on stage, and then you have
Yeah,
Samson and Andrew, and then they would be Samson would be fourth and Andrew would be fifth, right? Like
yeah,
it would be like the three meatballs, like compare those for top three, and then well, Samson looks great, but he's kind of out of favor comparably. You know what I mean?
yeah. He's
Yeah.
just his look is completely different than what those three
Yep.
guys would be putting out. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep. So I think, and that's where it's like when you get into talking about bodybuilding, like it's like I talked about this with my last show with a couple clients. Like I felt like one of my clients, Lee, didn't get fair comparisons. I felt like she didn't get put next to people that look similar to her, and I think that can be kind of hard, right?
Mhm.
And so like last year with Samson, to use an example, just based on his number for his trunks, he was standing next to Rami, and so he got put next to a big person, and he made Rami look small. So it makes you get noticed, right? And
Yeah,
so I think that really helped him. Now, if you're put next to someone who is like a Nick Walker or a Derek or in between those two people, you just look out of place. You know what I mean? And you're going to get moved next to people that look closer to you, like Andrew Jack or Crizzo or a Hunter, these bigger, kind of taller guys, right? So, yeah.
yeah. But we should have done freaking top 10 everybody that was supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. Like,
I
what if?
know. I know the what if Olympia. Like I remember a couple months ago, I was like, man, this Olympia is going to be stacked. Like
Oh,
it's going
dude,
to be great. And then Ian dropped out. Well, he retired, which is I don't know if he would have been top 10, but he dropped.
he
And
would be
then
fucking top 10 now. So
well,
for
now he
sure.
would be yeah, he would have
Uh,
been like sixth or fifth.
oh yeah, I think he beats Hunter.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, and then who else? Well, like Nick is out, right? Uh, Nathan Diasha got his visa denied. William Bonac is out. I'm missing a couple big ones I know, but like, yeah, they
Rami's
were
out.
who?
Rami.
Oh yeah, Rami. Yeah, I do you think Rami's gonna come back ever?
I hope so. I hope I hope he does it one more time, at least.
Yeah, I think he'll do it one more time. I hope he comes back and he looks good. I just hope he doesn't come back after taking a year off with stem cells and everything and still looks the same or worse. Like that would just be a
Yeah.
bummer,
Yeah.
Like
Go out
if
on a
like
higher note.
yeah. Do you think Phil will ever come back?
I hope he doesn't, man. Just call it good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Or-
it'd be cool. I'd like to see him officially retire,
Yeah.
but it's when he was sliding, like he got third, I think, his last year, and he looked like he should have been like seventh or eighth. It was just kind of sad to watch.
hmm I mean, I
Yeah.
hope he does like the Masters, maybe
Yeah.
once. I'd love to see that, or fuck, even a J revival. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think we'd see a Phil over a Jay for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Phil still looks kind of nuts for his age.
Yeah. He's been doing a bunch of that like motivational stuff. It's kind of like it's these like he's I don't know if you've seen them. They're like seminars, but you could tell there's no one in the audience. He's just kind of like talking on a stage just for
He
like
looks
the
like the
reels.
kind of guy that would be really good at that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It's crazy to look back and think about Phil like winning 8 Mr. Olympias in a row. And I know the competition wasn't as high as caliber as it is now. At least maybe that's just bias, but winning 8 in a row is still fucking wild. In the Open Olympia, like, and I know it's happened with like Lee Haney, Arnold won seven, like Dorian won six, but like that's 8 in a row is like I can't imagine anyone really in the top 10 except for maybe Derek winning 10 in a row. Like Hottie's old, or 8 in a row. Hottie's older, Samson's older, Brandon's older. Like the only one could be maybe Derek. Geode's like attacking my finger right now. Sorry.
What are you doing? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like the only person I think could be Derek that could do like a top 10. And he's got or a 8 time in a row, and he's got the same coach that did for Phil. So I think he's the best chance to be the next dynasty. I don't know. What do you think on that?
I fuck yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Because Samson's like fuck 38 years old or something like that, like
Oh,
30,
he's that
37,
old? I didn't
38.
know that.
Yeah, I think he's over 35 because he started
Damn.
pretty late.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Well,
Yeah.
at least we got started early.
That's true. And that's right. Well, like even Justin Shire, he's a young guy, but he's like 34, 35, something like that, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, he's on the older side.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be like a reigning Mr. Olympia like there was like a Phil Heath for a while, unless like, like more than 4 years. I think once you get past like three, it's like okay, you're like creating a dynasty now. You know what I mean?
Stam Solik, hear me out.
Do you think he'll ever really do well? Like what do you think?
I think he looks good. Um, I
Obviously he's
uh,
doing well, but like competing wise.
um, do I think he's going to do well competing wise?
Yeah.
If he actually like cares about this shit at some point, like maybe he just doesn't seem like he actually like gives two shits about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, uh, I don't know. I I th again like I think if he actually took it like seriously and stopped eating like shit, I think
Yeah.
his physique would be fucking insane, and maybe he could do pretty
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal. But I don't know if he like just continues his trend right. it's so hard to say because I feel like he almost has that like celebrity factor now that like Chris does. That
Hmm.
like him just showing up somewhere would possibly put him in a top call out no matter what because he's got a good enough physique compared to other people
Yeah.
and has that I think he would at least kill it on the amateur fucking side of things for
Yeah,
sure.
I think he would get his pro card pretty easily. Like, I don't think that would be an issue.
Mhm.
He did like a posing video with Ian Valier, and Ian's obviously
So
retired now, but like Sam looks so much smaller. Like,
right,
not even muscularity wise, but like structure. Like, you know, like when obviously we haven't seen each other in person in a while, but like when you stand next to an offensive lineman, you're like, oh fuck, like that's a big ass person. Or
right,
like what I said about Keon or what I said about Dallas McCarver, right? Like when you stand next to those people, you're like, oh, that's a big fucking person. When Sam was standing next to Ian and Fuad, it's like, yeah, he's muscular and he looks really good. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's just not the same like presence, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, absolutely. It's the same thing that we were just talking about with oh fuck, who were we just talking about with that? Like size.
Was it a classic guy?
Was it?
Or no, it was
Fuck, dude.
Tonio and Justin. Was it that?
I I think that's what I'm thinking of. I
Yeah.
could have sworn we were talking about someone else. But
CTE showing up there, but that's okay.
dude,
CTE for both of us.
it's what where are we again, dude?
Yeah, what's bodybuilding?
What sport did is the Super Bowl? Who's the
Yeah.
Falcons are going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, dude. Like I think he looks good. I mean, like what did he end his cut at? Like 230,
230, yeah.
something like that. And I mean he's pretty diced for 230, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just he's not super tall. I just don't think he's big enough yet.
Yeah. And I definitely think he could be a pro. I don't even know. I think he'd have to do open because classic, I think he's still too big. Like for his height
Yeah,
and his weight, I think he would have to get down to like 220. And I think that would make him not look as
he's
freaky and
that
cool,
tall.
right? I think so. Maybe
Really?
he might even have to get less.
Huh. I
Yeah.
thought he was a lot shorter than that.
You could totally be right. I'll have to look at that picture of like Fuad and Ian because Ian isn't that tall either. He's like 5'8", 5'9".
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be curious to see. And like you said, I think he takes it seriously enough to a point, but like he would have to really like I think he seriously counts his macros and seriously does that. But in a prep setting, like also too, kind of the thing that I fall into with prep sometimes, I I I lift or I'm a bodybuilder because I lift. I don't lift to be a bodybuilder, right? I think that dude just loves lifting. And I think the last stages of prep would be really hard on a dude like that for like his performance and everything. And I don't think he would enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which is kind of where I got at with my training with like when I was working with Blue towards the end there. And like I was just like, man, I don't like training anymore. And that's the number one reason why I'm bodybuilding. If I don't like training anymore, then what's the fucking point? Right. So
Right.
yeah.
It's, yeah. I yeah. No, I agree with all that.
Yeah.
Do I think he could do well? I mean, probably. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously genetics are there,
Yeah.
but I also don't. Do you have any idea what the hell he's taking?
No, according to Fuad, it's not as much as you would think. So,
Hey,
which is,
who knows?
yeah, yeah. So who knows? He's also young. Fuck, he's like 21. Like
Right.
if he sticks to this and stays healthy, you know, hopefully if he eats better, he'd stay healthier. You know, when he's
I don't know where
28,
that
like
man's lipids are at.
I know when he would be like, you know, Nick Walker's age at like 27, like he could look really good, right? But
Right.
who knows? Like I just want him to be able to make it that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's maybe just cut down the spicy chicken sandwiches by
Yeah.
3 times a week. You know what I mean?
Just a little bit, and then he'll be stage ready.
Yeah. Holy
Yeah.
shit, dude! It didn't even seem
Yeah.
like he cut that hard.
No, yeah, it didn't at all. Well, he's eating Subway every day. Like that's not a like maybe macro wise that's a cut, but that's not a cut.
Fuck, dude.
So yeah,
So yeah, that I'll just put it in right now. We'll put in that Sam Sulek wins the next next year once
The
he buys out.
the yeah, right. The O in 2035. That's what we'll do.
Guy,
Let's
I
do
hope
those
he makes
predictions.
videos every day up until that point
I
for like
know,
the
right?
next 10 years.
Right.
Oh my God. That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. Well, not to cut you off, but I've got my consult with Brianni's coach with Jake in a little bit
Oh,
here. So I
awesome.
gotta go pee and then talk to my wife, who I love, and go from there. So
Okay. You learned some good information and we'll do this again. Now we've
we
talked,
will.
we've actually talked now, what, like 4 times?
At least five.
Dude, we're getting up there.
We're getting up there. All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you later. Okay.
See you, buddy.
Bye.